and the
helping us
importance of
understand.
foundation. And I think you were going to talk
Well,
about
I just
foundation.
keep going back to the words of President Nelson when he said that in our time, we are experiencing earthquakes in diverse places.
Yep.
And then he said, in the homes of the families of the church. Not literal earthquakes, but those kind of earthquakes that crack the foundation. And
Oh,
how he
definitely.
pleaded with us to go to the temple and make and keep our covenants, because that is how we heal the cracks in the foundation.
I love it. And remember that talk that he talked about foundations and he showed us the Salt Lake
Yes,
temple
he
that they were
watched
doing?
Yes.
that whole
he
temple.
And I loved that
and-
what he said was there will be no safer place during an earthquake in Salt Lake Valley than inside that temple.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Likewise,
Isn't that
whenever
wonderful?
any kind of upheaval occurs in your life, the safest place to be spiritually is living inside your temple covenant.
And
I
in
love
that
it.
same talk, he said, please believe me when I say that when your spiritual foundation is built solidly upon Jesus Christ, you have no need to fear.
That is so
That
powerful.
is so beautiful.
Right?
I'm going to add another additional thing. If we go, Helaman 5:12, and I might be stealing your thunder by reading that scripture, but the one thing that really struck me is I know many of us could just say it by heart, but if we look at the context here, it's remember. He's saying for us to remember. I mean, that's the power of it. And I go back to your thought about covenants. All about keeping covenants is to remember the covenants that we've made.
Right.
Remember, and we go to the temple and we go often so that when we go leave the temple, we remember. And if we wait too long, we forget.
Yeah.
And I think that's the power of the foundation. And of course, he now says, and now my sons, remember that it is upon the rock of our Redeemer, who is Christ, the Son of God, that ye must build your foundation, that when the devil shall send forth his mighty winds, yea, his shafts in the whirlwind, yea, when all is hail and mighty storm shall beat upon you. All of us are feeling that right now.
Right?
It shall have no power over you to drag you down to the gulf of misery and endless woe, because of the rock upon which you are built,
Right.
which is a sure foundation.
And that's that rock of Jesus Christ that
That
President
is.
Nelson just mentioned, and keep our covenants.
I agree.
I going to the temple, that was so interesting. There was a time where I was called as Relief Society president and was with a ward that was just really struggling, a smaller ward. And I had this prayer, and in the prayer, I said a phrase that just kind of came like from my mouth that I was surprised and it helped me. And I was like, wow. And then I went to the temple and it was a phrase from my temple covenants, from the initiatory. And I was like, oh, that's where that, and it came from the Lord. Oh, and it's so funny because as we go and we're looking for inspiration, we can often find that connection to our own temple covenants that we don't even realize we're remembering.
Yeah, and I think it was actually Sister Nelson who said, repeat those covenants when you have a chance, maybe when you're getting ready in the morning, maybe when you're driving in the car, maybe after your prayer, whatever. Repeat those covenants to yourself to help you
Wow.
remember.
Well, and Elder Woodsoe, it's a favorite quote of mine, but it's something that I just always think about. He talks about if we go to the temple worthily, if we do these things for other people as the saviors of men, as we do temple work for others, that in and out of the temple, we will feel the Spirit of the Lord helping us through the day. And we'll have that inspiration. And I hold on to that because even out of the temple, if I'm going regularly, if I'm remembering